This is John Stewart, Green Lantern of Sector 2814, and you are listening to Geek Talk.
This is Professor Charles Xavier. There are more powerful mutants out there, but they are listening to Geek Talk.
What's up, everybody? It's Brad Hawkins, Ryan Steele from VR Troopers. We are VR, and you're tuned in to Geek Talk.
This is Dr. Egghead. How am I supposed to conquer the world and build the Eggman Empire if they're always listening to Geek Talk? Hedgehog!
This is the Didact. Humanity's imprisonment is a kindness, but not while listening to Geek Talk.
This is Ryu from Wreck-It Ralph, and you're listening to Geek Talk.
Hadouken!
This is Marek Ishtar. Let the shadow game begin. You're listening to Geek Talk.
This is Juno Eclipse. I've got a bad feeling about this, but you're listening to Geek Talk.
This is Commodore Don Krieg of One Piece. Don't ever defy me. Listen to Geek Talk. That is an order.
This is Lion-O, and you're listening to Geek Talk. Thunder, 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 Thundercats. Ho!
Hey, it's James Arnold Taylor, the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Master Plo Koon, and I sense the Force is strong with Geek Talk. Master Plo, do you talk geek? Koto-ya, Obi-Wan. Koto-ya. Oh, Koto-ya indeed. Now if anybody else can figure out what he's talking about, let's listen to Geek Talk.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special YouTube edition of Geek Talk. We are upgrading to where we're going to be doing a show every Friday. I'm going to be uploading it every Friday to YouTube, especially for YouTube. So, and joining me as my co-host for these shows, I've got my very favorite co-host, who's always a joy to enjoy talking to and do these shows with. I got Gina Moore Sanders from Swag 77.
Yay!
Woo!
Hey, here's my fanfare.
Welcome,
Say hey
Gina.
Dr. G.
Dr. G.
You're going to have a chemistry lesson today.
Oh, chemistry, huh?
Yeah, biology.
Well,
all of that. Today, you're going to have a quiz at the end, all of you who are listening.
Well, you guys will be able to take and like this video, and if you, at the end, you can answer in the comments, you can answer the question or the chemistry lesson by Dr. G, and answer will be next week.
I guess I gotta come up with some questions now.
Well, what we'll do is we'll make this a segment on here now.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to just call you Dr. G from here on out.
All right.
So, alrighty. As our special YouTube edition of Geek Talk, it's actually going to be fun. We're actually going to be upgrading everything each week, because I actually found a way. I'm in the works right now of getting this to where we will be live at some of the events when I do guest interviews.
Yeah,
if it works
Tony
out.
likes that, you know.
Oh, I'm going to love that. So, alrighty. So how have you been, Gina?
Pretty good. Just hanging out, taking it easy. In terms of my geekdom, I have been into several different things, but the main thing that I've been into is trying to get this character, Thrawn, Grand Admiral Thrawn, into Star Wars, and it became successful. 2 years of work.
Yes.
Under the Swag 77, Star Wars Actors Guild 77.
Yes, and it's going to be great to see him on screen.
Yeah.
I've got an action figure of Thrawn.
Yeah, I saw that.
I might have to do a little bit of scenarios with him soon.
Yeah, we already have him doing some baking. Now we got to get him doing some more stuff.
Well, he might have to be doing some stealing of some of the old Republic starships or something.
He doesn't steal.
Well, he might have.
He might procure them.
He might take and somehow get them and borrow them from the, or should I say, how's one of those police things go? Is take them in for police work. Or for the Empire.
He will take them. What is it called? Now you got me going. I'm old, so I keep complaining about how old I am. So yeah, he's going to confiscate them.
Exactly.
He is known for that.
Yes, he's going to probably take and borrow them for the Empire's purposes.
He has to confiscate things now.
Of course. So,
of course.
Other than that, I'd say we got some good news coming out here this week.
A whole bunch of news.
Well, have you actually heard about they actually made another Sharknado?
4 Sharknado? I wasn't allowed to watch it.
The Fourth Awakens.
That's Sharknado 4.
What the heck were they thinking? Were they trying to copy Star Wars?
No, and that's a parody. They know that they're teasing Star Wars about it. So,
they're just taking and making fun of Star Wars about that.
Yeah, a lot of the actors are tending to do that a little bit more and see how far they can go with it.
Yeah,
it's just to make Disney, Lucasfilm laugh, since it seems like they don't seem to laugh too much from being attacked by ultimate haters. There are some ultimate haters that are coming up now that are going to boycott Rogue One.
Yeah.
And I like, dude, really? Do you have other things to do in life besides this? They don't. They don't.
Right.
So they come on all these pages and they try to say mean things, and we're just going to sell it to them. We're going to write porn off their...
Well, we won't go into details with that. We're going to keep this PG.
That's a Dr. G special there.
Exactly. We won't go into details. So, how many of the trailers did you get to watch over the last couple weeks since San Diego that they released?
Oh, wow. How many? I think there have only been 4.
There was at least 3 or 4. I mean,
of two different types. You had Rogue One, and then you had...
You had Wonder Woman.
Oh, yeah, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And then you had...
I know since that they just came out with a Netflix original, Luke Cage.
Oh, yeah, I saw that last night. It's really good.
I mean,
it comes on September 30th. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
It's like I've never heard, it's like, well, what's going to happen when it winds up on Hulu and, like they have theirs and then who's the other ones that have theirs?
They have Daredevil.
Yeah, I don't watch Daredevil, but yeah. I didn't see a trailer for that.
The CW has like The Flash and stuff on Hulu. But the thing is they're actually losing that contract for CW.
Oh, really?
Their contract for CW is not going to be as procured as... Because Netflix actually announced that they were obtaining CW. So the shows on CW, like The Flash and Arrow and all that, where right now that you have to practically wait till the next season.
Yeah.
We will probably be seeing Flash and Arrow coming up on Netflix after the season ends.
Flash has to compete with the new Justice League movie that's coming out.
The new Justice League movie's got a different Flash actor.
Yeah, totally. So it's like easier to stuff them into something that people have to... They'll get 1 month, I guess.
See, from what I've seen is it's going to be 2 different universes.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
And
they're similar in look, but there's 2 different verses now.
Right. I'm kind of surprised I wasn't too impressed with the actual costume for the Flash in the Justice League movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't take a good look at it. He wasn't mixed.
It's just too much dark colors. I mean, where Flash usually has a lot of all red suit.
Yeah.
This here does not actually have a all red suit.
Yeah, that's what I remember seeing some of that. But, you know, I can't watch the Justice League because I have a husband and he likes Marvel Comics really much, and he does not like Batfleck. He's really mad at DC Universe right now, and he's like, I am not watching a Batfleck movie.
Right. Well, they actually have Affleck as Batman in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I know. And I said, they said Suicide Squad was pretty good. And that is probably because of Jared Leto, you know, playing the Joker. And the Joker is...
I don't know if it was just that. I think it was also Will Smith as Bullseye.
And what's her name? Margot Robbie playing
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is what she did. It sounds like to me, I haven't seen Suicide Squad yet. I want to see it, but it might not be in my household anytime soon.
Well, I plan on probably seeing it next week.
I think she has taken that character, Harley Quinn, and just really worked on her very well.
Well, from what I've heard so far of this Suicide Squad, it's DC's best movie so far.
It would seem like it because they're all the bad guys. They can do bad guys well.
Well, that's just not just that, but I've heard say the actual action and storyline has actually made it real good too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because just the way the actors apparently fit together.
Yeah.
Well,
they are professionals, and they know how this works, and it doesn't seem like they would not know how to do it.
Right. I think that they actually might do it. I'll have to see it myself, but I'll probably see it next week here on Tuesday, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And go from there. As far as, say, some of the other stuff that's coming out, I seen that Wonder Woman trailer, and I'm sitting here like, okay, so they couldn't actually take and bring this movie out before Batman vs. Superman. I mean, because of the fact that it takes place on the Amazonian island that Wonder Woman or Princess Diana comes from.
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering about that is because of the fact that
a lot of people were asking that about a year ago when they were filming Batman vs. Superman.
Right. Why not?
It's like, why couldn't you do the Wonder Woman thing? And they, studio problems. It's the same thing with Doctor Strange that is supposed to come out that's going to get boycotted by a lot of people.
I don't know if... Actually, Doctor Strange looks really good.
Yeah, it may be really good, but they're tired of that. Fans are some fans are kind of tired of seeing this total change in the character in such that it's like doesn't relate to anybody. But
it's not exactly the change in the character. It's just DC. Marvel's done a really good job with their characters. I mean, because Doctor Strange isn't in any real part of the Marvel universe that actually has been done yet. Where with DC, what they did is, honestly, they took and they're doing things backwards in a way. I mean, they're introducing the characters, the backstories of the characters after these different actual areas that they should be introduced in first.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, say, Justice League. They're bringing Flash in, they're bringing Cyborg in, and Aquaman in before they have their own movies for Justice League. Yes, everybody knows Barry Allen's story and everything, but how much do they? And they know Aquaman. Why not bring that Aquaman in beforehand? Before you bring in,
because they want to be different and make their money up front, so they can't make Aquaman.
That's probably what I think it is they're trying to make their money up front, and they
don't have enough money for an Aquaman Wonder Woman show.
Well, I think that what they need to do is bring these characters up front first, and then go from there. So that's what I'd say. And then bring in your big all-together movie. I mean, because you don't... Because from what I've seen in the trailer for Justice League...
Who's doing this? WB?
The Warner Brothers owns DC. But
so they're
DC itself is doing that.
Sounds like they're doing this because they got some extraneous contracts out. This is a business thing, not a story thing.
I'm sure that's probably what it is they're trying to get all their big actors going and all that.
Yeah, because you got to pay those actors.
Right. But like I say, I myself think they're doing it backwards. I mean, they can pay those actors and get the film done, but that doesn't mean that you have to actually do the whole bring it out after the actual movie of Justice League. I mean, because you're paying the actors no matter what, why not get them the storyline and do it right?
Well, because they'll do movies in between that might become very popular, and then you'll have to pay them more. Because they can always, until the movie is made, you can't renegotiate the contract, and you can always renegotiate the contract.
Right. So
I'm just saying,
But yes, that's basically where I sit with DC stuff. But did you know that they're still they're still planning their, you know how bad Fantastic Four was for Marvel.
Well, we watched it, and that was on HBO recently, and we watched it, and it was like, it's alright, but it's like none of the... They tried to make it an emotional movie, and then Doctor Doom did not look right to me. He just didn't look like Doctor Doom. And then there was no relationship between, the very hardcore science between Doom and, what's the guy's name? Reed Richards. Mr. Fantastic. And it was like, well, they're all scientists, right? It seems like they were out of place. It was the story. I mean, I don't mind redoing the story 1,000 times, but it's like, dude, at some level, it's like Fantastic Four is kind of like Star Trek. You kind of had to have science in it.
Right. Well, the thing is, too, is the characters themselves. I didn't have any problem with the actors or anything like that. It's just the way the characters came off and looked. I mean...
Yeah, they look rugged. They did not look,
They didn't look streamlined enough to be the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, they didn't look like... To me, it was like... They look like, we're doing experiments in your mom's basement.
Right. Well... The thing is, I liked that they introduced the Baxter building, but at the same time, is you introduced
we have a nuclear reactor in the bottom of your basement.
No, it wasn't in the bottom of the basement. It was actually in another area, not an apartment building at all.
So, yeah, it just seemed
Believe it or not, though,
Is the Fantastic Four a city type of feel, or is it like, new and novel, like, the future, and this is where it's all perfect? And
the true Fantastic Four is they are a group of 4 people who protect the Earth together, like a Justice League kind of characters, or Avengers type team, but they don't live in a futuristic type city, is what kind of made me kind of like, huh? It's like, yeah, I understand you're trying to change it a little bit, but it's like, that don't make no sense compared to, say, like the comics and stuff, what everybody's used to. I mean,
I always felt that they were like in a new type city, like a new building and a new clean cut building, and they do this dangerous experiment and change.
Right, they did that, is what they're supposed to do.
I'm like, when is Deadpool coming out?
Yeah, that was what I was like when I seen how bad the Fantastic Four was. I was sitting there like, thing is, despite the fact that they bombed that movie, Fantastic Four, they're going to do a sequel. Let's see here. You bombed the first one. Usually the first one sets the tide for the other ones. Let's see here. Let's see here. How should I describe how the sequel will probably go? Kaboof! I really
don't think you use the talents of the actors themselves, because that was like not really good for Miles Teller. It's
no,
like
they
Miles,
actually, yeah,
really?
I'll agree. They didn't take advantage of the talents the actors could do. I mean, because Johnny Storm is a hot shot. Everybody knows that. Whether he's white, black, it don't matter what color skin he has. He's always the hot shot who's always trying to do up himself. He's always trying to...
you know, about Johnny Storm and, what's his name? Michael Jordan, who played him. It's like Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan is his name. Is that he is really a hardcore dramatic actor now, since he's been in a couple of major movies that are about drama and intrigue, and so he really needs to, I mean, while they may have race bent him and everything, he didn't play cocky, because the tide of the world is not that way. You can't be cocky.
Right. You know? His idea, I mean, apparently...
You just, for him and the movie-going audiences today, I can say this because I'm black. I know it's like, you know, you can't have no Black Lives Matter on no Fantastic Four.
Well, I could see that, but at the same time as... Yes, the actor, but the thing is keeping the character.
Was he even related to the main? What, I forgot the other actor's name.
He was actually kind of an adopted. Actually, his Sue Storm, the gal who played Sue Storm,
I know,
was an adopted sibling.
But is he related to the guy who was in charge of the entire?
Yeah, the guy that actually came up with the Baxter Building or whatever it was.
Yeah.
He was actually, I think his dad was the one that it was his dad.
That was his dad in the story. That's his real dad in the story.
Right. I think that's, if I remember correctly, it was his dad. And that... Yeah, it just kind of was like sitting there like... I
don't know. My belief wasn't suspended in the way they did this story.
And for them to try doing a second one the same way...
No,
I don't think it's...
a better director.
Well, one, they're going to need the better script. Two, they're going to have to do a better storyline and actually redeem themselves in this one if they do a sequel. Because otherwise, it is going to take
And they
I'm
didn't
talking
even
about.
have, what's his name? Stan Lee in there.
Yeah, you
Can't
even have
have,
Stan the Man Lee. I mean, who
in
Stan
every
Lee.
Marvel movie.
Stan Lee is the only.
Deadpool
He
had
was the
Stan
only.
Lee in it.
Yeah, Deadpool had Stan Lee in it. Except the only Stan Lee cameo that didn't make it is he wasn't in X-Men. He wasn't in any of the X-Men movies.
Yes, he was the latest one.
I'd have to go back and watch it, but yeah, most of the X-Men movies he has not been in.
He was in the
He's been in Avengers.
No, what was the latest one that played the
Captain America: Civil War.
He was in Civil War, but he was in X-Men.
X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah, he was in there.
Okay, he must have.
Where he was,
I haven't.
but he was in there.
I haven't seen it yet, but
he was a patron at a cafe. They were eating, and he was like, "Oh man," and his drink spilled or something.
okay, I haven't seen that.
Everyone
the newest
was
one.
waiting for that one. That was actually a good one because you have to see that. So, but what is really hot about it is the little girl who plays on Game of Thrones was Jane.
Right.
What's Jane's last name?
Oh, Jean Grey, you mean?
Jean Grey. She was playing Jean Grey, and she turned into somebody else.
Actually, no. That you're talking about. Oh, you're not talking about the gal that was on Game of Thrones. It's actually Jennifer Lawrence who changes into the different people.
No, Jean Grey changes into her other.
Jean Grey has telepathic.
She changes
Mystique.
in her
Mystique.
other personality. In her other.
You're talking about Mystique, the blue
no,
gal?
I'm not talking about Mystique. I know who Mystique is.
Okay.
I know who Ravenholm is.
Okay, so
But
Jean Grey, the gal that turns into the Phoenix.
Yes.
Okay. She got into her Phoenix mode, basically, early on.
Apocalypse. No, not early on. Apocalypse brought her there.
Okay.
And when Apocalypse saw it, he was like, oh.
Right. Well, I haven't seen it yet, so don't...
They killed Havoc off. Oops, that's a spoiler. They killed Havoc off, and so now he's going to be MacGyver. Just so you know, that's not really like a spoiler. That's kind of like, oh man, that's sad. And then you get the rest.
But, no, like I say, I haven't seen it yet, so I didn't... That's good that they actually... But believe it or not, there's been a theory on this, is kind of a rumor, is the reason why Stan Lee's been in so many Marvel movies is you've heard of the character The Watcher, right?
Remotely.
He's a great watches over all the universe and everything else.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
People have kind of speculated on this, is Stan Lee might be the Watcher.
Yeah, he is.
Because of the fact that it's based off of Stan Lee.
Yep.
So it's possible that we could see Steve Stan Lee as the Watcher eventually, or bring that character out. We might not see him till Infinity War, maybe, but if he comes in that way. But
never know. Whatever he's able to do, as long as he feels, and there's a movement to try to get George Lucas into all the Star Wars movies. That's something.
Well, I didn't think George Lucas was actually in the Episode 7 at all.
No, he wasn't. But now they're gonna have to do it. That's what the fans want.
Well, yeah, the fans want it, but some of the fans also wanted Legends to be canon.
Well, one legend is.
Well, we already know that. So, but we're going from. Alrighty, so basically, as
From
far
now
as
on,
legends,
they put them in the little Lego Freemaker Adventures. I don't know if you ever watched that. It's on Disney XD, the little Lego show.
I haven't. I don't have Disney XD, so.
Yeah, well, it's all over, YouTube and everything, and you can kind of steal it. It's like you really have to sit there and you watch it, and you're like, oh my god, I need kids. I don't get any of this.
So, but yeah, as far as Marvel goes, so what do you think of their deciding to do only one Infinity War instead of two?
What's the Infinity Wars now?
It's going to basically be the big battle featuring a lot of the Marvel characters that have already introduced.
Civil War.
No, Civil War is.
Is Deadpool going to be in it?
I don't think he's going to be in it, but I think there's going to be the Avengers for sure. Most of the Avengers are going to be in it. And also, basically, I think Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be in it. Basically, Ant-Man.
Correct. Yeah! Star-Lord.
Right. So I think that's going to be really cool. They're going to have Thanos as the enemy. As one of the enemies that I know
Are
of.
the X-Men going to be in it?
I'm not for sure. I haven't heard much about if they're going to have X-Men in it or not. But it's possible they might, because I know at one point the X-Men did go against Thanos. But what is going to happen is Thanos, you've heard of the Infinity Gauntlet. You know of the Infinity Gauntlet.
I do. Okay.
Which basically is the big glove Thanos has with the gems.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Infinity Gems, okay.
what I'm thinking, what's speculated already, and I'm already kind of speculating myself, is Thanos is going to get hold of the Infinity Gauntlet and at least a couple of the gems.
Yeah, because the one with the mind gem is on that one guy, and
just trying to think here.
the yellow one. You know him by color.
Actually, Purple Face.
Huh?
Oh, you're talking about. I know who you're talking about too.
He's a red guy.
Yeah, he's. Let's see here. Oh, I'm just trying to think here. It's on my tip of mind.
I mean, I think it's almost time that there needs to be a shift in Dynasty. They should be shifting from costume superheroes to, I don't know what. I can't tell. I think that, for me, what I'm watching now is unexpected.
Right. They're kind of getting real people, basically. And not giving them costumes.
Yeah, they have, like, real clothing, or if they have costumes, it's like costumes for the period, or costumes for...
Right, they're kind of giving them up 21st century costumes.
Or costumes for the genre. I think it'll be more military in like you wear your military uniform.
Right, it's kind of more Kevlar and everything.
Yeah, stuff like that than just what we used to see with the stretchies and stuff like that.
Spandex.
Spandex.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of they're trying to come up with more realistic costumes is what it is. I mean, because the fact that you figure, because how many times have you seen with Man of Steel? I mean, you got Superman basically basically doesn't have the spandex exactly. It's actually more of an actual Kevlar type material.
Yeah, and same with Batman and stuff.
Right. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do.
To see what directions they go.
Right.
So, costume characters are great. I think it's great cosplay. I think we can honor that. Even Trek, I have not seen Star Trek myself, but you see more functionality in what they're wearing.
Well, the thing is with Star Trek is the new movies, they've actually been doing more of the actual, should I say, equipment over just, say, the regular, should I say, shirt and pants and all that.
Yeah.
So, but yes, it's been more, they're using a lot more equipment in the movies than they did in the actual TV series and, like, the original movies.
Mm.
I've noticed. Which, basically, they're bringing it kind of into the 21st century with new stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see what the future of movies and cosplay entails.
Mm-hmm.
So, with different... you see it in different, should I say, Comic-Cons and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
How many people come in just originality-wise? You see the stormtroopers with a Captain America shield and like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But
you also see, you don't see the girls in little tight outfits, like...
Right, you don't see as much of the... You see more of the... due to... We won't go into details of today's era of the reason why, but... Yes, you see more, should I say, conservative costumes compared to what you used to see.
Yeah, comparatively, about 20 years ago. When was the first X-Men? X-Men was 2000, wasn't it?
I believe so. 90, I think it was like the 96 or...
The same costume only wore in the first X-Men. Yeah, okay, so around that time, Batman was running high, right? 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So Catwoman had her Catwoman costume, and that was believable. I'm not saying anything is wrong with it, but would you wear that every day?
I don't think a lot of people would a lot of gals would. They were... Nowadays, the costumes are kind of a little more conservative and acceptable compared to what it used to be. So, but yeah, I enjoyed... I myself go dressed as... You can pretty much see almost any kind of costume nowadays. Ladies dressing up as Captain America's in Captain America clothing is nothing new. So it's actually
here's a thing that's talking about they're selling it. It looks like they're selling all the Hot Topic Suicide Squad and all the stuff of Harley Quinn, saying "Daddy's Little Monster" T-shirt, rotten, and the girls. And what's interesting about the girls is, and some of the guys, but mostly the girls, they're coloring their hair the two different blue and red color, that's popular. It looks like you're getting these clothes because you're spending a lot of money, and you're wearing them every day.
Well, yeah, you can actually take, and sometimes you can't, depending on where you work, some people do buy them and you can wear them every day.
Yeah.
That's nothing new. Look at how many themed T-shirts have been made that Walmart sells themselves.
Yes.
Target sells. You're selling them, or even it's gonna basically be sold no matter what.
And then the guy's got Joker with green hair and the crazy look on the face and the white. It's like kids wearing this to school. I don't have a problem with it personally. I just think it's funny.
Well, see, it's not actually as far as the say the T-shirt itself.
Mm-hmm.
The main things with school is, one, as long as it don't have any advertising for beer or alcohol or cursing on it, or should I say anything that can be considered, should I say, not like I say in a rated R movie or PG or close to that.
Yeah.
If you can take, and in school you can wear almost anything that doesn't have cursing, beer images, anything with alcohol.
Yeah.
Or nude. That is the main things in school that schools cut back on.
Yeah.
As long as it don't have that stuff, with geekdom, you can do it.
But just think, like 10 years ago, you could wear that.
Actually, good. I remember 10 years ago, I could act back in, even when I was in school 20 years ago, you could actually wear it as long as it didn't have those, depending on the school, it depends on that.
Yeah.
Sometimes the schools are, depending on what school it is, might be a little bit more lenient. So, but yeah, that's where I look at it as it's possible. But as far as, like, say, some of that, it's actually really good. I look forward to seeing some of that cosplay. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. So, and then at the same, so as far as that goes, yeah, I'm looking forward to where I get to go to this week and I get to see an anime convention, which I'm going to be at. It's a one-day anime convention called AkuaCon, and I'm actually looking to cosplay as like a Lego Yoda. Since I'm even though it's an anime convention, I am gonna dress as Star Wars for part of it.
Well, good luck.
Oh yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna touch on Rogue One for real quick. What did you seen the trailer teaser for tomorrow night?
Yeah.
What do you think of it so far?
I think it's exciting. I think there's going to be a lot of things that we didn't expect in a Star Wars movie, and we're going to like it. And it's going to remind us of the old Star Wars and the new stuff all at once, and we're just going to really enjoy. I think that as someone as an aficionado for the bad guys. I think Director Krennic is going to be just utterly vile. Just the way that at Star Wars Celebration in Europe, they had him, and he was in his full costume, and he has state action. And he walks out there all, like, I'm watching every one of you. He looks like the guy in Breakfast Club. Spenalo, no, you still his wardrobe.
So
I forgot the actor's name, but anyway, the Ben Mendelsohn plays Director Krennic, and he's going to be very vile. He will be in Berkeley. There were all the other actors in the movie there. They were just laughing. They were like laughing their ass off. They were like, "You're funny, dude." And I think they all came together, and they really put their best foot forward to make you believe that you were on this planet called Jeddah. It's called Jeddah. And it's a planet that has some spiritual significance to the Jedi, some Force-related soul experience with the Jedi, and that the dark side wants it for its purposes. That's why they're building the Death Star near there.
Okay, one question I got asked from a friend of mine is, do you think Thrawn's going to make any appearances in any of the movies coming out?
You mean live action?
Yeah.
Not that we know of. It's not understood who's going to play him. You know, they would really have to break. They would have to break some rules to what they have said. Who will? I mean, they probably have two actors playing him, much like they have Rocket Raccoon doing, or a couple of. Who was the other one that did this? They have the actor that is in costume, and then they have the actor with the voice.
The original Star Wars had a lot of that.
Yeah, even Darth Vader. That's a very, very true statement. But that was after decision. But what they'll do in this new one is who would they use to cosplay or to be Thrawn with all its images and deliver lines with a strong voice that now we know how he sounds. And he's going to sound like methodical and very slow, not slow in his speech, but more like very even in his tone. Right. And he never gets mad. And you cling to every word he says. Who are they going to use? So if they do, it would not shock me if there was a holocron of him.
Right.
That would not shock me. What would shock me is full costume of an actor who agreed to paint himself blue for the day and say,
right.
Learn about art, Captain.
Right. But yeah, I myself, I agree. We don't know anything about it yet. So I told him, I said, well, I know he's going to be in the animated series, so if you want to see the new Thrawn, there you go. That's the canon one. So.
Well, they're working out how he is supposed to be played. That blue makeup is, you know, if you're not part of the Blue Man group, that's some hard stuff to wear for the amount of time that they're asking you to wear it. And those contact lenses, the full eye contact lenses, those things hurt your eyes. So you have to be insured for that.
Right.
And I mean, who's gonna, Star Wars has been saying that they're gonna do a live action TV show. It might be a Netflix or something like that, but it's a live action.
Hopefully they actually,
if I say,
I've heard about they're looking on doing the the TV show. What I'd like to see them do is take it and make it to where it's the Old Republic stuff.
Yeah.
Mainly because
that's a different story.
Well, it's a different storyline, but at the same time, as
they're going to probably do Coruscant Nights, just to be, it's going to be like Knight Errant and Coruscant Nights.
Yeah, it's hard to say, because we'll have to see, because
you never know.
Because they actually touched on the Old Republic in the Clone Wars TV series, cartoon. They also touched on it in the movies. I
wouldn't be shocked if they steampunked Star Wars to the Old Republic.
Right. I think that's what a lot of fans would like to see. And it would actually...
Steampunk, like a weird, steampunk version. It's older Star Wars because of the way of what they're using and stuff, but you also know that it's still new-fangled because it's still a space movie, so...
Right.
It's not that it can't be done, it's more like, okay, well, they already got stuff written, so do they go for the easy stuff that's already blocked and written and it just has to be directed? Or do you go for something brand new that takes you 2 or 3 years to write? Right. And there's thousands of scripts. Don't think that Star Wars, the Lucasfilm don't have any scripts. Come on.
Oh, I'm sure they got something stashed away somewhere.
You know, I mean, and if you go a steampunk version, that's fine. You know, but you're still talking about, they had that one show on TV about Sherlock, and then they had Houdini.
Oh, Houdini and Doyle?
Doyle, yeah, they had Houdini and Doyle. I mean, how did they do?
I actually think they did a really good job on that TV
They
series.
did good job on the series, but is it coming back?
I don't know. I haven't seen the end of it because of the fact that a few weeks ago...
So basically, you're talking about live action Star Wars will have to compete with the big guys that are like on like Game of Thrones. Can you compete against that?
I think there's enough Star Wars fans they can. What I'd like to see them do is, rather than put it on regular TV, since Netflix has been topping everything almost, coming pretty dang close to it, throw it onto Netflix.
I understand all of that, but that's because, you know, they don't have to do too much with Netflix in terms of advertising and all of that, because people pay a fee to watch what they want to
yeah,
watch.
that's the thing is...
But then when you're talking about, it's not Nielsen rated either, FYI.
No, it might not be Nielsen rated, but at the same time...
They need those Nielsen ratings, too.
The thing is, though, too, is depending on the station or the studio and stuff, Fox, NBC, I mean, Fox and mainly the local affiliates have not been doing very well when it comes to the actual stations, like the Fox and your NBC and CBS. Basically, you figure Netflix, even though it's not Nielsen rating, it still tops them off. You got people that don't have cable or have radio station or stations.
They got Wi-Fi.
They got Wi-Fi and are able to take and watch Netflix.
So here's the thing is that I watched an entire season of the new show, Stranger Things.
Right. I've kind of touched on that a little bit. I started watching it, but then I was like, I need to go watch something else for right now when I have more time.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna talk. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. It's
this is
geeky.
Your show. It's really geeky. This show, if you are a 1980s John Carpenter, Stephen King, who else is in there? If you're one of those fans, like E.T. and stuff like that, all of that is in this show.
Right.
All of it is in it. You know, like Aliens and like who else is in this show? Outer Limits. You know, the new Outer Limits, the new Twilight Zone, the new what was the show in the 80s? Not Goose Pimples, Crypt
Goosebumps.
Keeper.
Oh, Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Crypt. They all in this show. And so, and it's like, it's computerized and everything, and the kids are cute in there. They're like little middle schooler kids that you want to wring their necks half the time because you're older, but then when you think about it, oh, I used to be like that. And just had this innocence, and they played it to the hilt, you know, playing this innocence. And so as long as you are into the 80s scene and how they used to do the movies back then, and the shows and the TV and all of that, then you would really like it. But as far as if you're a person who knows nothing about that, or probably in the 90s versions of movies and shows, and the ultra-violence and stuff like that, then you're probably not going to like this show.
Right.
It's kind of hokey, because, you know, it's a maturity, but it has a very good plot line. And you're like, who's who here, you know? And then when you finally figure out who's who, you're like, wow. You know, it is a pretty cute show. I like it because of the girl Elle, and you know, it's like Jedi in training, and
Right.
and she can do things that people normally can't do. I remember, you know, trying to play Dungeons and Dragons back in the day, but I didn't know how, so I never learned like I was
Right.
supposed to. But it was like that, and then and you know, kids arguing and fighting over that, and then I mean, the two guys who came up with it and organized it got turned down like practically 20 times, saying we don't want to do this show. And then Netflix came and got them the money, and they finished the show, and they started showing it, and then it just took off from there. And I
Right.
think what they did, I mean, there are two actors that are in there that have been in movies and shows for a long time. Winona Ryder and I forget the other guy's name. And
I haven't seen it, so I couldn't remember.
he plays the chief of police. And there are other people that are in it, but it's like they got in there and they just acted that bejesus out of the show.
Right.
And you're like, you don't know what you believe. You know, would you know to believe that? You know, from what they're saying, what would you do? You know, and back
Right.
then in the 80s, stuff like that was happening, like kids getting abducted and nowhere to be found, and parents just freaking out, and
Aliens.
yeah, you know, X-Files.
All right, so not to cuss off on that, but
Thing on Netflix, you know, those are the kinds of things they get to do, the experimental stuff, and that's where you test it. And I don't know, is Star Wars experimental?
right. But
Watch Stranger Things and see what you think.
I will do that. I'll be look
If
to
you
do it
can.
probably this weekend, possibly if I got time. So
Yeah.
before we get too late in the day or the time here,
Yeah.
you said you had some little bit of doctor stuff to cover. A question.
Okay.
You-
I have a question. I
little
had
bit
to
of
cover
chemistry.
a question. A little bit of chemistry. Oh wow! So, a nerdy question for chemists. Last week they talked about a new plan for Mars.
Okay.
What is it?
Alrighty. So the trivia question for this week is they talked about a new plan for Mars, and you have to answer what it is. You answer it down in the comments, and let's see. I think we should, for these different things, we should actually start announcing a prize eventually.
Yeah, we need prizes.
So I will
guess
have to think about that and see what we can do.
Mhm.
But answer down in the comments, like this video, and to get a hold of me or Gina as far as our different pages, we'll put it right down in the description, and like this video and subscribe. We'll be doing a video at least once a week. No less, no more, no less. Or
Yep.
actually no less than that. And we plan on having fun with this.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be able to get some guests on here. I mean, we've had some pretty good guests at times. So I might have to hit some of them up again at some point. So until next week, on behalf of myself, Gina over there, and everybody who supports Geek Talk, until next week, keep your feet on the ground and keep aiming for those stars.